For some people, 7 has always been blue since childhood. Ask most people what Tuesday tastes like, and you will get a confused stare. Ask someone with synesthesia, though, and they may name a flavor immediately, treating it as casually as the weather. For them, sound can bring color, touch can spark a hue, and a familiar day, person, or letter may seem to occupy its own place in space, in their inner map. Their senses are wired together in ways ours usually are not. This is synesthesia, literally joined sensation, a stable crossing of the senses that can make ordinary perception feel quietly, consistently more layered and completely real. Brain scans reveal why. When a synesthete hears a sound, visual regions may light up alongside auditory ones, as two sensory systems answer the same signal at once. One clue comes from the way every developing brain begins by building far more connections than it will eventually need. Early in life, that wiring is dense and generous. Signals travel along many possible routes before the brain decides which pathways to keep again and again. As we mature, most temporary links are gently pruned away. The network becomes leaner, clearer, and better tuned for the work it does each day, with precision. In a synesthetic brain, a small number of extra links may remain. Activity that begins in one sense can then reach another without being invited, with ease. That is why a sound can arrive with color, a letter can carry texture, or a weekday can feel as if it sits in a particular location around you. Nothing here is broken, exaggerated, or imaginary. The brain is simply preserving a route that most of us briefly had, then gradually stopped using, without ever noticing it in childhood. You can see the effect in a simple visual task. Picture a field full of 7s, repeating in every direction, while your eyes search for something different. Then, one detail changes. For someone who experiences numbers as colors, one different digit may not need to be hunted down. It can separate itself from the background almost at once, before conscious effort begins. The 3 blooms against the 7s, not because it is larger, but because its color makes it impossible to overlook. It draws attention. What looks like a puzzle to us can feel like immediate recognition to them. Color does the sorting first. That extra association may do more than make the world vivid. It can give a memory another handle, another route, back when the original clue is hard to retrieve or recall. Imagine a memory as a card stored in a vast archive, carrying one ordinary label somewhere among countless other cards. For some synesthetes, that same card also carries a color tag, a second cue attached to exactly the same piece of information. When they need it later, that extra cue may guide the memory back into focus, like a second thread leading through the archive inside it. It is not a superpower, and it does not happen for every person with synesthesia. Still, it shows how many ways a single memory can be indexed and retrieved. Perhaps the strangest part is how ordinary this can feel from the inside. Many synesthetes spend years assuming everyone experiences the world this way. It simply feels normal. Someone might taste a word, see a color in a sound, or sense a personality in a date, and never think to call it unusual. It can feel entirely ordinary. How would you know that a private detail of your perception was different if it had been quietly present for as long as you can remember? No outside reference tells you otherwise. So try a small experiment for yourself. Let the number 3 appear in your mind, without forcing it to mean anything more than it already does. Just notice whatever arrives first. Does it bring a color with it, even a faint wash you have never quite put into words, or always blank? Most people may feel nothing at all, and that is completely ordinary. But for the people who do, it's not a metaphor. It's Tuesday. No test is being passed, and nothing needs fixing. Next time, the glitch flips in a different direction, the feeling of being supremely certain. We will ask why that confidence can be so persuasive, and why it can outrun the facts. Sometimes certainty feels like evidence, even when it is not. We will follow that strange gap between conviction and being correct, and what that tells us about the stories our brains build. Subscribe for the next mind glitch, and tell me, did a number, a letter, or a day of the week arrive with a color for you? Tell me.